Man, that background looks completely barren without my jersey being up there and being on me. All right, two things, two games last night. Obviously, um, Knicks played against the Sixers. That game was over very quickly. Brunson scoring 27 in the first half will do that to him. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to say about that. Embiid did not shoot again from the field well again, but he was getting the bigs of foul trouble. They can't guard him. Cat leads the league in offensive fouls. He leads the league in fouls. Period. He's not going to be in the series long if he continues to play like that. So he's not going to be able to guard Embiid. So either Embiid is going to get free baskets or he's going to have to foul. And then Mitchell the exact same thing. Mike Brown is not Tom Thibodeau, so the hack a Mitch that doesn't work. Because what happens when you intentionally foul Mitchell Robinson, right? Is everyone else just starts to get free throws, and that just makes it almost impossible to get any momentum, because now they're scoring when there's no time on the clock. Yes, fouling Mitchell Robinson itself is a good idea, but there are counters to that. So I think more teams should be aware of this by now at this point, but I'm not gonna lie, it did take a while for even anyone like to even think about that. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Especially because Brunson and this team, once you have them in foul, once you intentionally foul, that puts you in the bonus. And then if you intentionally foul and you're in the bonus, that makes almost every drive to the rim, the officials are looking at the calls and they're like, well, if this is a foul, that's free throws. And any ticky-tacky nonsense, that becomes free throws as well. So there's that. Yeah, I was worried about how Mitchell Robinson would be used at the beginning of the playoffs, and I was thinking, like, I don't really know how that's going to work out. I figured it out. Now, the thing is, you can't foul Embiid. I was sitting there, I was thinking they're going to have to dig DOR up from off the bench. And they did. They did. It really didn't really matter this game, but I'm sure in another game it will not be enough, and they will all of the bigs will be in foul trouble, and I think at least one of them will foul out. I think this series as a whole is going to be very entertaining. I just think that the first game was a blowout. I don't think Brunson will have 27 the entire game. I think the Sixers will probably shoot better as well in the next game. If I had to just be completely honest with you. And another thing. The Hawks won their games by keeping Brunson involved in the actions, and I was thinking to myself, if CJ can do the damage that he did to a Jalen Brunson, what do you think Tyrese Maxey will do? The fact that I did not see Maxey go after Brunson the entire game was kind of concerning. I saw a lot of instances where Brunson got the switch on VJ and did whatever the fuck he wanted. And if you were late coming out and closing out with like a Paul George or whatever, he's still frying the niggas. The game was over before half. There's not really a lot of need to talk about it. Let's be honest. We're here to talk about the history that Wemby broke. All right. So I'm gonna just completely be honest with you. Some of the blocks were goaltends. Some of the blocks were goaltends. All right. But Wemby having that record does not bother me at all. How he got it? Some of them are probably goaltends. He still had the most blocks, straight period. Like, even if you remove the goaltends, I'm pretty sure the 12 block game only becomes what, a 10 block game, which I can't. Like, the refs said they were blocks at the time of the game. They're going to be recorded as blocks in NBA history. It doesn't really matter. I don't think it really matters. I think people are going to be upset about it. But again, it's Wemby. I think people seeing Wemby do it is fine. I think people are going to see that it's Wemby in the history books. Are going to be like, oh, you're talking about this game? And then we're going to look over and we'll look at the rest of his resume when it's fucking all said and done. And he'll have multiple of these games and we'll just be looking over like, yep, it's the first time he did it. Let me just be completely honest with you. Wemby played terribly offensively. Now, they couldn't get whatever the fuck they wanted because Wemby is not a mop defensively like Jokic, but Wemby played awful offensively. Do we understand why Wemby played awful offensively? It's Rudy Gobert. It's fucking Rudy Gobert. Yeah, it's Rudy Gobert. Let me not even cut. No bullshit. It's Rudy Gobert. As a side note, just hypothetically speaking, are we done? Are we done with the Rudy's not a good defender? We done? Because Wemby takes threes and Jokic also takes threes. Are we done with that? Because he guards in space. He guards in space now. It was a ridiculous ask of him to have guard in fucking space, or in the early 2020s. No big has ever had to fucking do that shit. No big in NBA history has ever had to guard in the amount of space that Rudy Gobert has had to guard in. Are we done slandering Rudy Gobert? Are we done? Because Rudy has been Defensive Player of the Year 4 times in a row. Not 4 times in a row, but 4 times. And motherfuckers were acting like this was the worst thing in the world. Yes, he deserves to be up there with a Dwight Howard. I argue he's a better defender than Dwight Howard. Yes, he deserves to be up there with a Ben Wallace. I don't know if he's a better defender than Ben Wallace was in that era, but I don't think fucking Ben Wallace would be 4-time DPOY in this era. I don't know if that's controversial, and I know Ben is an all-time great, but there are just some bigs that he wouldn't be able to guard in this era, right? And I know Ben's 6'9", so he'd probably just be like in a Draymond Greenish role instead of a Ben Wallace role. But I just think it would look different, right? Who else? Mutombo has just 4 because he had a very, very long career, right? And his defensive excellence stretched out that career. But like, if we're talking about the era in which that he won his 4, like, yeah, no, dog. I don't think anyone who's won 4 previously would be able to do this shit, man. Fucking insane what this man is doing. I think the way that niggas regarded Jokic before this playoff run and after, like, if that doesn't inversely and conversely go to what PR that we've been taking away from, the general public has been taking away from fucking Gobert acting as if the players. By the way, the players that have fried Gobert in like infamous clips are like Luka, and niggas in guard who has the guard in space, or niggas on the perimeter, right? Brother, I hate to break it to y'all, that happens to everybody. Bro. Like, y'all see clips of this man. Y'all see clips of Gobert getting fried by like Steph and Luka on the perimeter, and you're looking over like, oh my God, Rudy's not that good of a defender. Look at this all-time great frying him in this one clip, as if he doesn't have multiple clips of blocking all-time greats. Oh, he got dunked on by Lakers Russ. He's not that good. No one looks over at offensive players like, oh dang, bro, you got blocked. You stink. Because you look at everything else they do. Defense is not a fucking block metric. Now, that being said, the 12 block game was still insane. Let's talk about this really quickly. I did not think Anthony Edwards would be coming back. When I saw he was listed as questionable, I was like, huh? And then I read an article right before the game he was cleared. I was like, huh? I was like, he hyperextended his knee. It's like, I don't know what version of Ant you think you're getting, but it's not going to be enough to win again. No, well, I'll be damned. I had been coping. I was like, I don't think the Spurs are going to lose a single game at home with a healthy, non-concussed Wemby. And then they lost the first game at home. And it was a very close game, so I don't want to act like it wasn't. But let me just say this. Fun fact, defense has been really, really good in the postseason. The officiating has been... I feel like in some games it's a defensive affair when two defensive teams match up. It's been a defensive affair. I feel like when it's been offensive teams and defensive teams matched up, it's been a defensive affair. But when it's been 2 offensive teams, it's been... By the way, the only time it's been 2 offensive teams, I think, has been like the Hawks and the Knicks. But like, even still, And that matchup, the team with the better defense just won. I think games like this, and I'm all for low playoff scoring games. Is like hundreds, low hundreds to like by both teams, by the way, obviously. Low hundreds to maybe like mid 90s. I don't have a problem with that. 120s to 120s, don't have a problem with that either. Once we start getting like out of the deviation and like we start getting to like extreme lows, yeah, now it's a problem, bro. Like if it's in the 80s, by the way, that Cavs game that I'm referring to, game 3 when the Raptors eventually pulled away with that barrage of threes. Yeah, that was hard to watch. And I was a Cavs fan. I had obligations to watch that one. I'm covering all the games. I had obligation to watch it. That was hard to watch. It was an early game too. Like, yeah, no, not for that. Not for it. Can't do it. It's. The blowout. By the way, the Sixers had been blown out for quite a long time. So even though they were doing that, I had to look at them and just talk and look at the thing and like, really think about it. Tyler Kulik minutes was cool, I guess. The game had been over for just such a long time. There's really nothing to talk about. I think the starters did what they did. They didn't get any production off their bench, but I think everyone and their mom knew that they were not going to get production off their bench. Grimes can give you something sometimes, and then so can Andre Drummond. But the rest of the bench is like Bona, Barlow, Justin Edwards. That's not really their formula to win. So I'm not really looking forward to that or thinking about those guys in the series. I'm thinking about Kelly Oubre. I'm thinking about Tyrese Maxey. Embiid, obviously. I'm thinking about VJ Edgecombe, seeing what he can do for me. VJ might have to come off the bench, to be honest, to be more effective in this series. That is something I have considered. When VJ shoots the ball well, this team is good. Like, really, really good and hard to beat good. But they started the last series like this, where they did not shoot good. They showed up to game 1 and got blown the fuck out. So, I'm not too worried about them, but it is something to keep note of. As far as the Wolves game, that was great. That was amazing. Wemby shot 0% from 3. I think he took 8 threes. Again, 8 threes is a lot of threes for him to be taking. Don't like the amount of threes that he took. I thought we were getting away from that. I only want him to have the green light to take 8 threes a game if he's hitting like 6 of them or 4 of them. Right? Like in that range, he'd have to be shooting that well for me for him to like feel confident in him taking threes. And I just mean like at any single point in the game, he's got to hit like half of his threes at that point. He's shouldn't be taking that many threes. He does look intimidated. I won't say he looks intimidated because he's attacking he's challenged, right, by Gobert obviously, but I feel like he's settling if he's taking threes. And I think Gobert I think everyone knows that innately, right? Yeah, I think it's weird to say this because they're not going to be able to miss. I don't think Wemby can mismatch hunt like a lot of other players do. I think it's just going to have to happen organically, and that's not how I'm used to seeing offense being ran in this point, in this era of basketball, to be honest. If it happens organically, we'll see, but I don't know. I'm not really sure what offensive sets, I'm sorry, I'm yawning. I'm not really sure what offensive sets the Spurs can run I just woke up, to really attack this defense. I was thinking going into this series that the Spurs just have more offensive firepower, and they're just gonna get shooting from Champagnie, and they'll get shooting from Vassell, and it'll be enough. And the slashers that are Fox and Harper and Stephon Castle, and they'll get a little bit of perimeter shooting from all 3 of those guys, right? But that'll be enough to really open up the game. It wasn't, and I never really thought about this as critically as I probably should. Gobert is a terrible matchup for literally all 3 of the guys that I just mentioned. Like, honestly, he's a bad matchup for even Wemby as well. Now, Gobert cannot do everything, so if they can keep Jaden McDaniel and Julius Randle in foul trouble like they were in this game, because both of those guys almost fouled out. they can keep those guys in foul trouble, that'll be something to look forward to. They have to do that. They're going to have to attack those guys throughout the entirety of the series. That is going to be very hard. And despite this being a defensive affair, there is a lot of fouls, right? I just want to say this. I do want to be a little bit critical of Anthony Edwards' 18 points because it didn't look the most aesthetically pleasing. But he's playing through an injury. Like, there's not a lot to be said. And the baskets that he did hit were the reason that this team won the game. They only won the game by 2 points. It literally came down to the last shot. I think Champagnie took the shot to win the game. I like the shot. I think that the idea of it was niche. Not niche. I think the idea of it was a good idea at the time, right? Obviously the shot doesn't go in, but I think just the commentators were saying it every single time. I set defense is the hardest defense to attack. If the defense is not moving, it's because the offensive players are not moving enough either. If the offense is not moving the defense, then it's going to be hard to score. It's just going to be hard to score. It's not going to be easy to score. And I think everyone knows that. And a team is as defensively intense as the Wolves have been in this postseason. Yeah, it's going to be very hard to win games on just your offense. And the Spurs had great defense last night. Again, mainly from Wemby. Again, some of them were goaltends. I don't want to lie. I think Chris Finch saying that in the interview was something that people are going to look over and be like, oh my God, he's just hating because he's old, or he doesn't respect Wemby's game. No. Some of those were goaltends. Some of them are goaltends, but like, nonetheless, the blocks were just fucking insane, man. Like, I don't. Wemby had a triple-double on blocks. I want to see the offensive efficiency from him get a little bit better. If he can be in the 45 from the field, I know that's crazy, but come here, listen to me. Gobert is a problem defensively. That is a problem. And he can't dribble against his defense either. I'm not gonna lie. Wemby's got a good handle on him for someone of his size, and I'd even say a pretty good handle, especially considering he's 7 feet tall. But like, you don't want Wemby to be a jump shooter. You want Wemby to be in the actions in there. If he can give me 45% from the field and like, maybe I need at least 6 free throws from him, to be honest. I need at least 6 free throws. 6 free throws made. Not attempted, made. 6 made free throws, 45 from the field, and like 24-ish points. If he could do that, maybe even 27-ish points. If he can give me that, they have a real chance at winning the series. If not, it's probably going to look like this. For Ant, I need 20. I need 20 on 45. I know you're playing through an injury, all of that, 100%. I understand that. If they either need 20 from Ant in those conditions, right? Or they need they need some offense to come from Jaden McDaniels, some more offense to come from Terrence Shannon. I think by the way, Terrence Shannon has been very impressive in this series so far. I know it's been one game, but like, Terrence not being a complete offensive dud was something. Mike Conley being able to give me production in the year 2026 was something. Like, all of that happens. All of that helps. Like, everything that Minnesota has given to us in the postseason so far has been spectacular. The effort, the intensity, the defense, the care that they've shown the game has been everything. It has been great. It has been amazing. It's been great, bro. I don't want anyone to lie to you and tell you that the Wolves upset is bad for the postseason. No, the Wolves are the postseason. They're great. They're everything I love about postseason basketball. If anyone tries to tell you different about them, bro, tell them the truth. Tell them that they don't like you don't like basketball, bro. Yeah, they just like, it's great playoff basketball. Obviously the Pistons and the Cavs are coming on today. And then the other Western series that I think people, some upstarts, just LeBron James and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I don't know if you ever heard them, but they'll be playing too tomorrow, I guess. I don't know. Or sorry, not tomorrow, today. Yeah. So I'm giddy, bro. I'm smiling from ear to ear, dog. Yeah. I don't really have notes. I don't have notes. I don't have anything I want to say more than that. Yeah, if you like the video, like the video. If you didn't like the video, tell me why you didn't like it in the comment section below. With all that being said, peace. Thanks for watching to the end.